Big Tuesday morning, friends. MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa here with the MLive Morning Weather Update. The hot dome still exists for about the southern half of the state today. Later on, some thunderstorms develop, and that keeps the temperatures from, probably keeps it out of the 96, 97, 98 range in Detroit, Ann Arbor, the far southeast, south central, but you're still going to be 95, still very hot and humid. And the farther north you go, northern half of lower Michigan, quite a bit cooler than yesterday, but still definitely on the warm side. I apologize. I'm a meteorologist. I like to start with the big kahuna, the upper airflow, what's going to happen in the future, give you the big picture. I look at it this way. I think your app is fine for today's high temperature and when it might rain and what the winds will do. I'm a supplement. I give you this stuff that the app doesn't give you. So again, I apologize. I'm just a weather geek here, okay? Beverly Paddock, how hot is it in the D? I saw it was starting at 77, heading to about 95. Good morning, Ann Lake. Henry and Mima, good morning. Carl Y, good morning. And good morning to Lennox. All right, so just look at this. This is the upper airflow, okay? This is about 15,000 feet up. That big reddish circle you see just centered southeast of Michigan, centered over West Virginia. That is, you can barely hear me. Hold on, let me just make sure I got my microphone looks to be, let me boost it a little bit. Maybe it's down a little low. Give me a second here. See if anything looks odd on my end. Oh, it does. Let's see here. Let's go this way. Now you probably can hear me quite a bit. Okay, thank you for the help. All right, so here's what a hot dome looks like, and that's what gets you into the mid 90s. And watch as we go into Wednesday. The hot dome is still there, but starting to come off of its biggest highs. Now into Thursday, what you notice is these little ripples coming through the Great Lakes and the upper Midwest. Those are disturbances, and those bring clumps of thunderstorms. So one thing I do want to say to you is that you probably, on your app, see a lot of thunderstorms each day. I would say it's an hour or two in any one place, and not every day. Now we're into Saturday, we're into Sunday. I'm watching one thing for early next week as you see a more definitive bend developing there about Monday or Tuesday. That could be a more widespread thunderstorm outbreak. Hey, let's go to it. Let's go to 4th of July. There it is. And what would that say? It would say we would have some really pretty nice classic why we love Michigan summer type weather with highs in the upper 70s to mid 80s. Let's see. Cynthia Shaw, morning. I've had enough weather alerts on my phone. When will calmer weather return to the Traverse region? You know, Traverse and all of Michigan is going to be in the storm zone. It does not mean it's every day, all day storms. Certainly not. In fact, 22 out of 24 hours, most of these days coming up will be dry, but an hour or two could be quite stormy. So there is no end in sight to the storminess in Traverse City. This is July 6th. And what we do notice is that the ridge is not forecast to build back up into our region as robustly. So we're looking at a lot of, wonderful type temperatures. So Storm Prediction Center says marginal risk, a 5% risk of a low-end severe wind gust in any isolated thunderstorm. Radar shows the showers around Door County, Green Bay, heading toward the east, so Traverse City area, northwest lower, you're probably going to be into the showers this morning. Those will dissipate because remember, the sun is on top of the clouds now and it's warming up the cloud tops. That's a stabilizing feature and it's evaporating the clouds. So we see that 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. storms and showers dissipate. And in this case, they're so light that they may dissipate altogether as they head toward the Grand Traverse region, as they call it in the north. And then we go to it in the afternoon. Now, what I want to show you, remember, I'm an augmentation to your weather knowledge. I'm not just your straight data. What I want to show you is the tropical connection that we have. So when we look at the satellite coming up, you're going to see, I'm going to show you some thunderstorms in Iowa, and then as we trace it back, you'll see it's a thin ribbon all the way down into the Pacific Ocean, directly connected to our weather. And as we get into that zone, as the ridge, drops south and we get into that zone, you can have some very torrential rainfall. Not guaranteed, but individual thunderstorms that really start to boom can put out some amazing amounts of rain to the tune of 2, 3, 4 inches. So we'll kind of focus on that. Again, not a certainty, but something that I want you to prepare for. So you can see now, this is the closer look, and you see the thunderstorm complex in Iowa. That's the one that I'm keying in on to arrive perhaps this afternoon across southern lower, and that's what keeps you out of the 96, 97 range perhaps. By the way, I can't remember what city it was. It was out of the Gaylord National Weather Service office. I'll be writing about it in a little bit, but I saw 99 degrees yesterday. All right, now look at the tropical connection. So note that, let me just expand it a little bit for you here. Okay, there it is. So look, Iowa, trace it back with your eyes. Hey, good morning, Jennifer Webster and Waterford. I always heard good things about Waterford. I've never been there. I'd like to see that place some point. So, tropical connection, Iowa, trace it back, Kansas, Texas Panhandle, down through New Mexico, down through Mexico, and then off the bottom of the screen in from the tropical Pacific. It's a conveyor belt. So the storms can have a lot of moisture in them. All right, now let's get to the models and the day-to-day, what's going to happen. I have over the years, I'm going to go off on another little soapbox here. I have over the years always tried to pride myself in being what I call as a small minority in meteorology of being dry biased. I forecast more dry weather than wet weather when needed. I emphasize the dryness because most of meteorology and most of the way you interpret the weather is wet biased. In other words, if you see a cloud with a raindrop every day on your phone app, you surmise that it's going to rain a lot. And in this case, like I told you, it's an hour a day. Sometimes it's at night or early morning, sometimes late afternoon. So where I was going with this is I like to come at you with a real good feel for when the first chance of rain is. I've been looking at it for about an hour and a half this morning. I think I finally figured out somewhat what's going to go on, but I want you to know that it's kind of a iffy type weather pattern. So most of your day is going to be dry. We're starting to get the new run off of the high resolution rapid refresh. noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4. What we're seeing is that stuff in Iowa could flare up thunderstorms in the southern part of the state, around the Detroit area, Oakland County, Ann Arbor, Lansing, Jackson, anywhere in the south, Grand Rapids even, Kalamazoo, in the late afternoon. Then this is overnight tonight. This is midnight tonight, and maybe another clump of thunderstorms. You look at that and you say, it doesn't look too bad. Remember the tropical connection and the fact that the models may not forecast exactly how it will look. Go back 6 hours. I don't like to use an older run, but this run of the high resolution rapid refresh gives us a longer time period so we can get a feel for tomorrow. This is midday tomorrow, and this model wants to take a more definitive thunderstorm complex. This is tomorrow evening. This is midnight Thursday. So as you can see, as the ridge breaks down and more potent disturbances come across that ridge, then we can definitely have more thunderstorms. Here's the next model that we take into the future, and this is this afternoon. And note, it does the same thing. It brings some scattered thunderstorms across the southern third of the state. And on Wednesday night, Thursday morning, it does a much larger area of thunderstorms. So I would say slim chance you get hit today, and a much better chance you get hit by a thunderstorm Wednesday night or Thursday morning. Then we pick up with the European model to see, what's going to happen out into the future. And it's a more general look. And so what I want you to notice is we go through Wednesday, it has storms around. Note the storm zone. The storm zone is like the northern half of lower Michigan, dipping to the southern half. This is Thursday. This is Friday morning, and it wants to say that there's a more definitive disturbance also Friday with something like that would be, quite a clump of thunderstorms. And someone asked about when does Traverse City, when do all of us kick out of it? We might kick out of it for a little while on the weekend, and then, we're right in the storm zone. And we get to go out to, we don't necessarily believe it, but we get to go out close to July 4th. And I can't tell you if it's a storm day or not, but I can tell you that it's probably not 95 to 100 degrees, and it's probably not less than 75 degrees. All right, so high temperatures today. And still, 95-ish, Ann Arbor, Detroit, Monroe. Let's take the 90-degree line and draw it from about north side of Bay City through Mount Pleasant to about Big Rapids. That's going to be anywhere south of that. We'll make it above 90. Look at Traverse City, maybe 78-ish. You were well into the 90s yesterday, hot and humid. So we're starting to see that. Then as we go into tomorrow, this model, high resolution rapid refresh, brings the northeast wind in. And right there, tomorrow, knocks the 90s down and gives us 80s. Okay, so let's go out into the future. So hot today in the south half. Tomorrow, 80s. Thursday, 70s north, near 90 south. Friday, maybe back into the low 90s in Ann Arbor and Detroit, while the northwest is in the 70s. A Saturday looks like it's probably a 78 to 83 type day. Sunday looks like a beautiful day as far as if you like just the classic warm Michigan summer, 85 degrees or so. Then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Hey, let's look at the 4th of July. Looks like it'd be a classic type weather pattern. Not too hot, not too cold. One last thing for you, just to give it a shot. Let me hit an update here, see if we've got an update coming in. We don't. This is the high resolution ensemble of total rainfall. So Remember, the models, you're going to say, oh, that's not too bad. I'm just looking at it as the location and the timing. Any of these thunderstorms can be 1, 2, 3 inches in a short time period. And we'll run it out into Wednesday night. You see the heavy rains developing off to the west and probably heading this way. So we've got quite a bit of storminess to get through here over the next several days. Nothing that sticks out as like this is a time period that we're going to really have to watch for flooding or severe thunderstorms. But when we get that, we'll have a good 6-12 hour window ahead of that. When I get that, I'll let you know. But for now, watch out, because any thunderstorm will be tropical, can build way up into the atmosphere, going to have a whole lot of rain in that column and down on you. But 23 out of 24 hours in the day are probably going to be dry for you. Hey, enjoy it. It's summer. I love it. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. Take care.